What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? We are back once again, y'all, for our Tuffy Talk After Dark Part 2, y'all. And we are ready to get this thing going here as we're going to wrap this thing up here. As, we were talking, we've definitely talked a lot about MJ, but we know that is a big thought and concern and question for NC State fans. You know, obviously, I mean, when the news hit, I mean, social media just went rolling of like, my gosh, like, no way.
My phone blew up at lunchtime when I went out there. I was like, because I had just was on it, like, and then like 10 minutes later, I went out to get my phone out of my car, and it was just like, I was like, what happened? And then, wow.
Yeah, it blew up. So yeah, definitely, one thing which I wanted to kind of talk about, because during the live show we had mentioned about, like losing the locker room. And the one thing which I wanted to say about that was there was some comments saying that, Brennan could have, was about to lose the locker room. And I'm still sitting here saying, once again, and I will die on this hill as well, that there is absolutely no blame that can be placed on Brennan Armstrong in terms of losing a locker room or anything like that. Because once again, like if he quote unquote lost the locker room, it wasn't because people didn't like him. Like, you hear things like, we're inside, and I can tell you from the inside amount that we get, which is not a lot, but it's some, that there's never been any issues of like, oh, Brennan's like a terrible leader, right. Like he's so selfish, like he's an I, me guy. Like, no, there's nothing about that. Like at the end of the day, like, in all his press conferences, all he said was, I came here to win. Like I came here to be a productive part of a winning football team. And, he's 3-2, and he hasn't done all that. But I mean, the one thing which I got to give hats off to him too is that, I mean, per what Doran said, which I mean, Doran's not really known to much to really lie to you. Like he may kind of talk around the truth, but he won't necessarily lie to you. But I mean, he said that Brennan like understood, the reasoning for, putting in MJ and giving him a shot. Obviously he didn't like it, but he understood and is what it is. Yeah. Like, that's the kind of issue I have is that if he was about to lose the locker room, it was going to be because simply the players wanted MJ the whole time. Mm-hmm. Like that's the only reason. So basically they were just like saying, I just wanted MJ to be the guy from the get-go, which, it is what it is. And again, listen, I'm sitting here saying to Brennan, listen, at the end of the day, you're a 6-year guy. So I have no issue putting that pressure on your shoulders that the fans, the players, they want to buy in. But from what I've seen so far, we can't buy in yet. So Louisville, if you go out there and if you ball out and if we win that game and you look great, then we'll buy into you. And just unfortunately to this point, he's just not done enough for us to buy in. And I think that's a perfectly fair, expectation for him. Like simply that. It's like, listen, like right now we're not sold. Like we have a guy that we're sitting for, but we believe, the coach staff believes that you can be the guy that can ride the horse for a year, and give us successful season. So show it. And unfortunately, at this point, he's not been able to do that, which we've discussed to death why we think that has happened or, what our thoughts are. But that's just kind of my thing is like, to me, there's just been way too much personal things. Like, I mean, again, I said in the first part that it's, I mean, I'm definitely going to have a little bit of heartbreak for Brennan when, I know it's going to happen that they're going to come out and the fans are going to go crazy that MJ starting. It's like, because to me, it's not an issue of Brennan. There's a lot of issues, and it's far from just because of Brennan that the offense is where it is right now, that they scored 10 points against Louisville. It's way beyond that. So, and I mean, again, I can say that there's literally a play where literally a defensive lineman came right through the middle, completely untouched, didn't even touch the guy, didn't even lay a finger on the guy, and he got waxed. Like, and you're telling me that, oh, if MJ was in, he would have totally, have thrown a touchdown on that play. Like, no.
MJ might still be laying on the ground.
Yeah, I know. Like,
who knows?
Like now again, I mean, MJ has definitely gained a little bit of size since last year, which is great. And I think honestly too, again, like, like I said, earlier that if he goes out there and balls out against Marshall, that I still think it was the right call. And I'll still say that, I mean, that one thing which this is kind of given him is, again, basically 5 game weeks of watching game film of this offense actually be played, and because like if he would have gone into the season, being the guy, he'll have run, practice versions of the plays, but there's a huge difference between running plays in practice and running plays in game films. Like seeing the other team's defensive tendencies to certain things within the offense. And so I still say that, if he is successful, it's not going to be, man, if we had started him against UConn, we'd have been 5-0 to this point. We'd be, scoring like crazy. Like, I don't necessarily buy that. So,
I think it's a win-win for Doran. If, like I was saying, if MJ Morris really comes out and is that good, then
he's winning good football games.
Yeah, then we're winning football, and that's all anybody really cares about at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If he's bad, then then it was like, okay.
I told you, fans, this is why BA was your starter to begin with.
Right. Yeah. It's obviously not the quarterback. That's the issue. It's everything else. But at least I'm showing I'm trying to do something to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just to kind of, hit that point once again, poor Brennan, there was a tweet put out there of the AC QBRs in week 5, and it had, Kyron Drones from Virginia Tech at 89.7, Cade Klubnik at 85, Sam Harbin at 64.8. It even had Phil Dracovic from Pittsburgh at 27.3. Brennan Armstrong was a 13.7.
I think he was the lowest, wasn't he? I think he was dead last.
He was the lowest, 13.7 QBR. Like, that's.
I think you get 10 for just putting your name on the paper.
Well,
you might as well just throw the ball into the ground every play, and you could probably have about the same QBR. So, Michael, thoughts on that?
Well, I don't like QBR to begin with.
I don't like that stat. It's a horrible.
QBR said Devin Leary was like the 7th best QB in 2021 in the ACC, which isn't true. Passer rating is a little better, but yeah.
But that's another thing, though. That's another thing which I got to bring up is all these people, Devin Leary truthers, like, he's not necessarily balling out right now at Kentucky. So just saying,
5-0.
Only difference is he's 5-0. That's really like his stats are pedestrian. I think he's got I think he's got you're right. I think he's got 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I think is what his numbers are at the moment.
He's thrown for 1,129 yards, 10 touchdowns, five interceptions. And against Florida, he was 9 for 19 for 69 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Like,
but the running back had like over 200.
Oh yeah,
yards, though, so
he had almost 200 in the first half.
Yeah.
He was like Ray Davis was a beast. I watched that game on Saturday, and it was like. So I was curious. Like, honestly, I watched, I kind of hate watched, if you will, to see what Devin Leary was doing. And it wasn't anything special. I mean,
no.
And honestly, just real quick, I know this isn't really about them, but you're going to find out how good Kentucky / Devin Leary is in the next 2 to 3 weeks when they play. Like, I think they got Georgia and Alabama, and like the meat of their schedule is coming. So, and it hasn't been like Kentucky fans have been all excited about. I've read some of their stuff. So I don't think we made the kind of tie it back. I don't think we made the bad decision moving on from Leary and bringing in Armstrong. I don't think you would have gotten much different other than
I don't think Leary. I don't think that was our decision. I think that
no, agreed. No, but I'm saying I don't think it would have been different had he decided to stay. And like I just don't see it would have been vastly different. I honestly I think it would have been probably worse because you had BA's legs.
Yeah.
True. Well, again, just Devin Leary is not, dude. Devin Leary would not work in an eye offense. Like, it just wouldn't. Like, he just doesn't offer the dual threat that the Anai offense kind of is designed around, that dual threat quarterback. So it just didn't work. So and see, that's my other thing too, because one question here from our Tuffy's mailbag is what seems to be the issue with play calling right now by Anai.
Yeah, but
and here's my thing. Go ahead.
No, you said Anai. Like, I don't really think Anai's system is really a running quarterback system. It's an offshoot of the run and gun. The spread. He's part of the Mike Leach.
Mike Leach.
I was trying to say Mike Leach tree coaching.
Yeah.
So I don't think, because if you look at who we're bringing in next year, Cedric Bailey, he's not a real mobile quarterback. He's a throw quarterback, and so
that's true.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to derail, but I don't think you necessarily need a mobile quarterback in this system. It was just an added benefit.
Well, and again, and we'll see, here for sure. I mean, I just know predominantly, between Garrett Schrader and then Brian Armstrong, that that's been the guy that's been a part of it. And again, design, there's been a lot of design QB runs, like, and then like, there's a lot of plays where even Armstrong even acted as a blocker, which, I mean, obviously, like, you're not going to ask Mike Glennon, hey, Mike, I want you to go out there and block that guy. Like, no, that's not, that's just like, you have to have that dual threatness in order to be able to pull off things like that. But, so yeah, again, so Tuffy's mailbag of what is the issue right now with play calling. And here's the one thing which I wanted to say to it is, there's definitely been a head scratcher in terms of with UConn. I remember that first drive with UConn. I was sitting there like,
it was beautiful.
I was like a kid with candy. The count, like that first counter play they had where literally Brennan acted as a blocker and all, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this was gorgeous. And then ever since then, because if we truly do have issues with our offensive line, why are we moving the pocket more? Like, why are we asking Brandon basically just to drop back in a 5-step coverage? Like, why not do some rollout plays? Where you're doing is asking your
that's not a nice offense though.
Right, but I'm saying like at the end of the day, you got to adjust to what is adjust to what is given to you. At the end of the day, if our offensive line is struggling with pass protection, then find ways to not rely on the pass protection so much. Yeah. Like if we're really strong at tackle, which right now we are with Tim McKay, ask Tim McKay and Anthony Bell, and hey, all I need you is just reach the defensive end and let our quarterback get outside, and then MJ within 2 seconds, there's going to be a KC running an out route or a post corner, whatever it is, hit him right there, like boom. Like, just find ways to make it easier on the quarterback a little bit instead of asking them to stand in there and hope and pray that the offensive line can hold on. Like that's kind of my initial thought. I mean, but I do understand your thought that that's not the design of it, but.
I just think it's hard. I just think it's hard to do that and expect that when you're already 2, 3, 4 games into the season. It's really hard to just kind of do a 180 on your offense. I also think and we've kind of beat this horse is there's so many different combinations and you just can't get into a rhythm. I think there's some of that going on. I don't really have. I haven't had a real heartache with the play calling other than some of the times when we're trying to like run the ball down somebody's throat, and that's really not who we are as a team in some of those short yardage situations. Yeah. But other than that, I think we've been fairly balanced as much as we can be. I mean, again, when we keep harping on this point too, is when you have as many issues and holes in your offense, it really limits you on what you can do and do effectively. And so I don't know. Like I just, again, I hope the MJ thing works. I'm going to, again, go to all the games. I'm going to have a wait and see approach. I'm not going to get excited. I'm not going to get disappointed. Again, this is a quarterback, and we've talked about this before. He's only had 3 starts. Like, is it 3, 4, whatever it is?
3 starts.
I mean, he's still basically a freshman in my eyes, because of just game experience.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout Eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Well, and kind of to kind of build off that too, I think with Anai, the only issue which I have is, I mean, when you look at Syracuse, you see, last year you saw, again, these creative kind of out of the box plays, which, you just haven't really seen a whole lot. But also too, because I think that one of the biggest issues is that wide receivers are just not getting a lot of separation. Yeah. And whether that's skill level, whether that's design, that's a whole nother conversation. And I mean, I'm not going to come on here and, we're going to start talking about who's a good wide receiver and who's not a good wide receiver. But I mean, I think that right now the problem that KC is far and beyond your most productive and your most targeted wide receiver says a lot about the other wide receivers in the room. And that's not my personal opinion. That's just factual. Stats back that up, which is why I will say that. So, I'm saying that, like, I'm looking at Nye, I'm saying, listen, we need to find ways, whether that's through crossing routes, some way to be able to muster up some separation for these wide receivers to let MJ get the ball, not have to, needle that ball, through traffic in order to get it to the wide receiver.
Yeah. You gotta, especially early in the game, you gotta give him some easy throws to get the confidence up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, especially against Marshall. Yeah, this first drive, like I need the most simplest plays, and because that's the other thing too that I think has been a big killer is I don't know how many 3 and outs we've had, but we have had a ton this year. We have had a ton of 3 and outs this year, which is just so tough for this defense. Which is why, once again, was our defense great on Friday? Well, was it like perfect?
Yeah.
No, it was not perfect. It had some blown plays. It had some blown opportunities for sure. We could definitely talk about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk about it. Why? Because they were on the field for most of the game, man. They held Louisville to 13 points.
Right.
Like what else can you ask them to do?
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah, they've been averaging 43 a game going into that game.
They
did their part. I mean,
they did all their part.
I thought we punted the ball pretty well.
Newcastle's a man.
Yeah, I mean, again, we just needed. I think really, we didn't talk about this play at all. It was the interception on the overthrow to Lassane. If you don't turn the ball over there, you're probably putting up at least 3 points, maybe a touchdown. That game is different. That game is different.
But again, watching that play, it really does it just screams out to me miscommunication. It went right over Lassane's head, and not 10 feet over his head. It went like a foot or two maybe over his head. Like he could have caught that ball and he was open, and he just didn't even react to it. Which just told me that it seemed like he thought there was a receiver that was going to be coming behind him, which is where Brennan was throwing that ball. So again, that's why I don't necessarily put that on Brennan, because again, I just don't know what was supposed to have happened there.
He was also getting, again, it goes back to the line. He was getting pressure on that, so he had to step to the right a little bit, and he sailed it a little bit. But I think Lassane still could have at least made an effort to get his hands up.
Share like you care. Put a hand up.
Right. Well, yeah, at the end of the day, hey, listen, if it's there, say, hey, listen, it's mine. I'm going to make the play. I'm not going to rely on something I can't see. I'm going to make the play. I don't know, but I'm going to make the play.
Yeah, it just felt like he gave up. Whether that's a correct statement or not, it just felt like he gave up.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, but anyway, though, and they kind of talking about the run game here a little bit too. It's still a big question to me of what's going to happen with Trent Penix. Is he ever going to be fully involved with this offense? That is a big question. Are we ever going to do anything? Because somebody asked a question, should we consider relying more on the run game to help create more space for receivers? And I think that's something where it's if it can happen, absolutely we want it to happen, because would that absolutely make things more easier for the wide receivers, because it makes the defense more susceptible to thinking that a run play is coming? Then absolutely that's going to help. But just from everything we've been seeing, just there's just not been a single running back that's really been productive on a game-to-game basis. There's plays here and there, but the holes are just not there for the running backs right now. It's tough sledding right now. It really is. It's frustrating. So
and Michael Allen, when he's trying to, a lot of times he tries to bounce everything outside, and when he gets going north and south, he's so fast. But he just
exactly
he's got to just get a feel.
He's not a guy where, unfortunately, he sees a hole and he goes, I'm running straight upfield right through this opportunity. I'm going to go through this hole and then I'm still going to look, and if I can bounce outside or bounce inside, I'm going to do it. It's no, bro, just find a hole, go get 5 yards, man. We don't need a 30-yard gain. Go give me 5 yards.
It does seem like he's okay, I could go here and get 5 or 6, where I could try and bounce it outside and beat him around the corner and get 30, but it's not working.
I just think the whole tight end position as a whole, it has been non-existent, whether it's Tootle or Penix or the Seaburrows
or Javonte.
Yeah. I don't know. And maybe that's something you're going to start seeing more of, is a safety valve for MJ, because with him not having a lot of experience in the offense, maybe that's something you'll see.
He trusts Penix more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of connection he has with these guys too, right? And that's the other thing. Like, what kind of timing does he have with these guys? Having mostly, up until this week, second team reps. Who does he trust? Who's going to be his guy on 3rd and 5? Like, who's going to be that guy he's going to be targeting? These are things that I'm interested in seeing how they develop.
And to go back on the chemistry and the whole locker room thing, like there's not been two players more close in terms of chemistry, at least from what you see during pregame and postgame, than MJ Morris and Brandon Armstrong. Like those guys, every single time like the game is over, like those two guys are talking as they're walking off the field. Like like they've been white on rice. Like they're obviously close, which is
ebony and ivory.
And yeah, and you know that even though MJ is starting, you have a very, very confident feeling that Brandon will do the exact same thing.
And Coach Dorn mentioned that in the press conference because that was kind of one of the questions. It was like, how is Armstrong taking this? And he said, look, MJ has been Brandon's number one supporter, and he said he expects the same thing coming, with it, with MJ as the number one. So, And we talked about it. I think, with Brendan Armstrong, he's a, 5th, 6th year guy. He's mature. He's not going to be a cancer. I think, he's going to be there, on the sideline. Hey, what did you see? What did you see? And I think they'll work fine together.
Yeah. And again, I truly do believe, and I don't know this for sure, but I truly would be absolutely shocked if he's still not involved in some sort of fashion, whether it's a 3rd and 1, short yardage guy, or a goal line guy, some packages. Like he's going to be involved. And, at the end of the day, just like we said, like he knew what he had to do coming into the season. And I know that he knows that he feels it like that. Yep. Nope. I have not been what I needed to be. I know it.
Yeah,
so, and hats off to him.
If he's, I hope that's how he feels because,
I don't, but even if it isn't how he truly feels, I don't think you would hear anything different from him though. Like he's a team first guy. He's not going to throw anyone under the bus.
Absolutely.
He's been a class act.
Absolutely.
We all wanted it to work out, it just, for whatever reason, it just wasn't the right fit. It happens. Yep. Now we move on.
Absolutely.
Now we go MJ Morris.
Absolutely. Amen. All right, y'all. So with that being said, that'll wrap it up here for our Tuffy Talk After Dark, baby. And so if you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to, again, hit that like button as it really helps support us. But make sure if you haven't already entered in the giveaway, make sure you got to go to part 1 to enter that. Make sure, again, all you have to do is be a subscriber. Make sure it's free to do. You can hit that button down below and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we release any new in-state content. And then make sure we hit that 25 like mark with part 1. So make sure to go hit that like button and then make sure to leave a comment in that part 1 with what is your favorite all-time NC State football game that you've been to. And we will pick that winner on Thursday afternoon, which as of this recording should be this afternoon. So if you haven't entered, make sure to go do it before you're too late. And with that being said, y'all, make sure to go follow us at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. But better days are ahead, Wolfpack Nation, for sure. Excited for what this season can still hold, and excited to hopefully see a huge, huge game here on Saturday versus Marshall.
A huge turnout, too.
Hopefully come out with a big win. That's right. That's right. So anyway, y'all, well, thank y'all so much again for all the support and for tuning in, and we'll see y'all soon. And go Pack, y'all.